Greetings guys and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to try and answer the question, what is Rimworld? And is it a game that you could enjoy? Also going to give you a quick tutorial. So if you've ever tried watching Rimworld on Twitch or a Let's Play here on YouTube, you've probably seen this sort of picture, right? People are just flying about the place, things are happening, you don't know what. You think maybe it looks interesting and maybe you want to get into it. So without any further ado, I will try to answer the question, what is Rimworld? I would personally describe it as a strategy slash survival colony management game, but it is perhaps best summed up by these three words, a story generator. There is a tutorial that I would recommend playing, but it doesn't go into too much detail. It just gives you the very basics, but nonetheless you should try it out. I will try to give you my version of the tutorial, give you some tips to get started. What I can't do is tell you the best way to play the game, because each person's experience will be different. You want different things out of it. But without any more messing about or rambling, this is how we begin. We do with a new colony. So on here, as you can see, we've got 4 different scenarios. The Lost Tribe is a lot of fun. You don't have any technology in here though, so it is quite a nice challenge. I do enjoy it though. But like I said, it is a challenge. I've actually never tried the Rich Explorer. I think it would be very difficult with just the one person. But I will try it one day. Naked Brutality. This is one that you will see on Twitch quite a bit. People start with alone, no food, naked, totally unprepared. My own personal favourite is the Crash Landed one. It's the classic Rimworld start. You do start with some technology. You do have electricity. You do get a revolver, a bolt action rifle. You get components which are important for building the more advanced structures, basically. So take your time, pick which one you want to do. Personally, today I'm going to go for the Crash Landed. So as we said earlier, it's a story generator. You have your colonists, you land on a planet, the game will throw challenges at you. Those challenges will be dictated by which storyteller you choose, and also the difficulty level. For your first time playing, I would recommend Cassandra. She gives you a nice balance of challenges and relaxation, gives you a chance to build a base up, and then throws some challenges at you. We have Phoebe Chillax. I've never played as Phoebe Chillax because of this line right here. Gives lots of time between disasters. I don't really want lots of time. I like constant challenge. But again, like I said, that's just me. Personal favourite, Randy Random. Like it says, he doesn't follow the rules. He'll generate random events, and these events can be good or bad. 1 minute he can give you lots of free resources, the next minute he throws a raid at you, followed by another raid. And I just appreciate that sort of challenge. For your first playthrough though, if you're testing the game out, I would recommend Cassandra Classic. We also have various difficulty levels. So there's peaceful, if you just want to chill out, build some buildings, maybe see if your colonists can survive without any major disasters happening. I'm not sure if you will get raids on this one. I've never tried it, but I don't think so. If you're more of an experienced gamer, I would recommend going for this one. I wouldn't try the very easy one. I would go straight in at this one. It's for beginners to Rimworld who aren't beginners at strategy or resource management style games. Later on you can work your way up through these difficulties. Also worth noting that you can change these mid-game, so if you want to start off peaceful, it's just too easy for you. Move it up a level and take the challenges up. After a few hundred hours though, I would recommend we do Randy Random. This is an important one. Commitment mode is basically like an Iron Man mode that you would see in other games. There's no saving it. You can't save it when you want. I honestly do find the reload mode to be a bit more chilled. It gives you a bit more space. You can scum save if that's your thing. I can't say if you should or shouldn't scum save. I know that there are occasions when the game just gets you angry. It may annoy you too much where you've got your best guy or girl and just a random enemy will headshot you with a bow and arrow. They just hit you in the head and that person's then dead. It does happen. It can be frustrating. I can see why people would scum save. I do use this mode usually, reload anytime mode, but I try to exercise restraint to not cheese the game, so you cannot, to not just get the outcomes that you want every single time. It is supposed to be challenging, it is supposed to be a story. But on this, for the sake of a tutorial, we're going to go with the classic Storyteller of Cassandra. We're just going to go on. We're going to go on Strive to Survive. It's a basic entry point, I believe. So we click on Next to get going. So this is where we generate the planet known as a seed. If you played Minecraft, those sort of games where you get a seed, you just type it in, and then every single person who plays under the same seed will be presented with the same planet. So you could get your friends to all play on the same seed and compare notes if that's what you want to do. And I don't personally mess about with these. I do like to go for 50%, so you get a nice big planet. You don't need 100%. These things right here are mods. It's nothing to worry about it, and if you're a beginner. I will mention them later though. I will give you some tips on them, what I prefer. The royalty DLC, honestly, if you're just checking the game out, I wouldn't recommend buying it to start with. It does add cool features. It doesn't add enough cool features for me to recommend it when you're just checking the game out. I personally wouldn't bother right now. So this is the planet. We can hold down our middle mouse button and scroll around the planet. So the different coloured areas are basically the different climates, much like the planet Earth. We've got basically North and South Pole. We've got some continents in between of various climates. So we zoom in, you see the little hexagons here. Every single one of these hexagon is a tile that you can play on. It's worth noting that you cannot start on the oceans. It just won't let you. You cannot land on it. It's just water. There's nowhere to build. What is important, what is worth looking at, is this little tab here, the terrain. It will tell you various information about the tile that you have selected. This is important. This is easy to overlook. It's not explained in the tutorial. I would recommend going for something that's 40 out of 60 days. If we scroll around the map, there are it changes basically. This is 30 out of 60 days. Some of them are 20 or 40 out of 60 is pretty good. I would recommend going for 40 out of 60. There's also different conditions of each tile, which you can read about here. Many species of animals in the temperate forest. Also this right here, stone types. It's not so important for a beginner player to worry about that. One thing I would say is if you look out for marble, because items made out of marble, such as walls, it has a beauty, and your colonists will appreciate the beauty. It will keep them happier. But again, it's not so important on your first playthrough. You're just gonna be like a trial run just to get to grips with the game. Personally, I like to play on things with hills. What does it tell you? Mountainous. So a lot of the area will be covered in mountains. You'll have to dig your way through it. You can build mountain bases, for example. Here, it's just totally flat. I think you should look for at least hills. I don't like tropical rainforests. I did do a playthrough on it. I mean, people were just getting diseases all the time. Yeah, buzzing with animal life and infested with disease. I just got diseases all the time. But nonetheless, you may well want to go for random. Click on random, go for a random site. If you get rainforest, then it's tough. Just go with it. Go for the challenge if that's what you want to do. We have swamps here. Dense overgrowth makes it difficult to move around. What's also worth noting here is that special features, caves. Some of them, well, as it says, some of them will have caves. You'll generally get bugs in there at the beginning of the game. They're not so difficult, but it's something to be aware of. We're going to go for a temperate forest. We're going to go for this one. 30 out of 60 days. Marble. This is the create character screen. It's worth taking your time and having a look around here. You are allowed to take 3 people with you. It gives you a selection of 8. But if you want to, if you don't like the look of this guy, for example, we can click randomize and it'll get rid of him and give you a new one in his place. So if we start, let's just start at the beginning here. What's worth looking at is the health. Do they come with any pre-existing health conditions? And yes, this one does. It comes with asthma in both of his lungs. He's got a gunshot wound on his right arm, which will affect his what's the word? Manipulation, how well he can do things. Something that's very important. I value this very highly. The 2 flames here. It means that he's got a burning passion for something. Yeah, let's see if we can find. Yeah, this one's got 1 flame. It just means that they're interested in it. But the 2 flames means that they are very interested in it, and they will earn bonus XP for carrying out these tasks. For example, this one, crafting 4, it is low, but it's got double passion. I would value that over someone that I'd like. Let's say they had like crafting 8 but 0 passion. I would value the double passion but 4 because they will learn better. And it's just something that creeps up when you're not really paying attention. Next thing you know, this guy will have like 10 in crafting. He'll be making really cool stuff. He'll have a high quality. Like when you, for example, if you're crafting guns, rather than just making poor guns or awful guns, he'll be making good guns, perhaps even masterworks and legendary guns. And these are important things to think about later because they do more damage. So definitely spend some time on this screen. Examine the traits that they've got. For example, this is a positive trait, a fast walker, and a hard worker. The drawbacks, of course, is got asthma. So there are no perfect housemates unless you install mods and and tinker with it. So let's spend some time here. Let's try and get some nice colonists. Okay, so I've selected my 3 colonists here. I'll quickly try and tell you why I chose them. This guy has one of my favourite traits. 2 of my favourite traits, in fact. Psychopath means it is not bothered by seeing dead bodies. He kind of enjoys it when people get killed. He feels no empathy. Also, he has the brawler trait. He likes to fight up close and personal. So I like my pawns to be. In all honesty, I do love the melee pawns. He is incapable of dumb labour, such as he'll never carry anything, he won't clean, he can't craft and he can't cook. So you might think that sounds quite bad, but he's amazing at plants and he is amazing at animals. So what he will be able to do, he will grow plants and cut them. He will be able to tame animals, so you can get a nice selection of, well, let's face it, alpacas. That's what I always end up with. Also he's very good at melee, so this will be our, well, he'll be our brawler. That's his job. We also chose Clark. Now, he's very good at shooting and he likes melee. He's good at intellectual. So when it comes to researching new technologies, he'll be very quick at it. It is very important and quite overlooked, I believe. And he's got a decent little spread here. He can plant and look after animals. I would probably have him on crafting. We don't have anyone that's really good at cooking or construction because they are very important. But during events in the game and capturing prisoners, we will be looking out for a cook. That will be something that's quite important for us. We also went for this guy because basically he was the best of a bad selection, to be honest with you. These guys are all... Oh, this is also a brilliant trait, by the way, Bloodlust. He enjoys fighting, he enjoys it when you've got a raid, for example, and you start killing the other guys. For most people, their happiness will go down because it's like a mental stress. They don't like it. Yeah, but when they've got Bloodlust, he'll be loving it. His mood will go up from killing people. It's a great trait, to be honest with you. I was also going to say, be careful of these ones. I really dislike this trait. They are incapable of violence, so even if a bad guy, a giant polar bear, whatever, starts fighting with them, they just won't do anything. They'll just stand there looking at them. It's an annoying trait for me. Sometimes you will be stuck with them though. So, nonetheless, with our little crew selected, we click on start. And so, this is where the game begins now. You have 3 people come crashing out of space. At this point, press space, pause the game. Take a good look around your surroundings. Try and see where you would like to build your base. One thing to be careful of, if we look at architecture and structure, try to build something, you cannot build past this white line, so it's not possible for you to turtle up into a corner, unless you're in a mountain. Unless there's lots of mountain there, no, not like that. Well, let's say there was a big mountain here. You'll be able to dig inside the mountain and you would be turtled up, but that does come with its own drawbacks of the infestations, which I will go over later. So first things first, we have a good look around. I look out for these steam geysers, or gazers, I'm not really sure what it's steam gazers. Later on you will use these to get large amounts of power, because power will be important to you when you've got various turrets and machines working for you. Another thing to think about here, if we click on this button, this is not explained at all in the tutorial, took me a while to figure it out. This is the fertility overlay button. So what you're looking for is the dark green bits. This means that the land is very fertile. You will grow crops there faster The normal sort of green colour just means that it's decent. Just means it's decent land. It's not bad or horrible. You can't grow anything in this browned out part. The yellow means it's not very good. This area looks kind of tempting. One thing to think about is building around mountains, because you can use it as a natural defense. You know, if you were to build a base here, you know, you would have a natural defense from the south, because people would have to dig all the way through this mountain to get to you. But to be honest, they will dig all the way through the mountain later on to get to you. So as I look around this map, I would think about building a base right here, because we can wall off this area, so to stop bad guys getting to us. We can make a little area here, so I probably would build some sort of wall here, and then the only way that bad guys or mechs or whatever animals could attack us would be like from this sort of entrance here. We could make a little kill zone here, and also, you know, we are quite close to that. We'll be able to use that at a later date. So the first thing to do is look at your people, get them. Basically, the game will revolve around a few things. A couple of the most important things to think about are the needs of your people. Look at these slidey bars, for example. These comfort levels, the beauty levels, recreation, food. All of these things culminate to determine the mood. So when we get down here, if they reach a low mood, there is a chance of them having a mental break, which ranges from anything like they might start pigging out on food, they might just walk around aimlessly. But when it gets really serious, if the mood is really low, they can even just decide to leave your colony, or they can just decide that they've had enough and they just want to kill everybody they see. They'll want to kill your other colonists, kill your animals. They'll start smashing the place up. So it becomes a balancing act between getting them to do the work that you want them to do and keeping them happy so they don't flip out. That's generally what the game revolves around, and that is also determined by this. So this screen here, it is mentioned in the tutorial, but I sort of wish that the simple form didn't exist, because it doesn't help. For me, it's just it's bad. We look at plant cutting. This guy is good at cutting. We want him to do it, but the ticky boxes, I don't like them. So I would recommend getting used to the next box. Click on that manual priorities. Personally, I'll spend some time looking through this. You want to spend like 10 minutes at the beginning of a game going through this stuff. One important thing, I put firefighting on 4 because I will manually tell them to firefight if the fire breaks out. But I don't want them running off to. I don't want them stopping what they're doing to run off to the other side of the map to put out a fire. So that's why I do that. Patient is very important. I put that on 1. This basically means if they catch like a disease, they will stay in bed. What will happen is your people will get injured, and then they might pick up a disease. If that happens, you want them to stay in bed until they get better. They don't want to leave bed unless they become starving and they need to eat. That's the only reason they should be leaving the bed. Otherwise, what will happen is they'll get out of bed, they'll start doing stuff, they'll walk around, they'll fall over. The infection won't get treated by one of your doctors. Losing people to infection sucks. I don't think we've actually got a doctor. I never really thought about that. Oh well, nonetheless, this guy's the best doctor. Anyway, give me some time, I'll play about with these. I've now played around with this a little bit. This Clark will be our all-rounder. He's kind of, he's average at everything. Chef, although his name is Chef, he's not very good at cooking, but he is the best cook we've got. Now, you always want the best cook to be making food. We're going to level him up in cooking. If you have too low of a level in food, they'll make it of a low quality, and it will actually poison your colonists. They'll walk around with like food poisoning. They'll walk around like being sick, throwing up all over the place. It's kind of gross. Nonetheless, this is the best cook we've got. I think 4's okay. He's also going to be our constructor guy, and he's going to be our general crafty style person. Hartman, as the name would say, is very good with plants, as his title would suggest. I should have said. He's going to be good at growing and looking after the crops. So now the next thing to do is look at each person's bio, this guy, and give them the equipment that they've got. This guy's going to be shooting, so we give him the bolt action rifle. This guy is the melee guy, so we give him the knife. Also, I would give this one the body armor, because he's more likely to be getting up close and personal. and we don't want him getting, we want him to take as less damage as possible. So we're going to arm them. Chef is only decent at shooting, so we'll give him the revolver. Revolver's a pretty nice weapon early game. I would also give him the helmet. So the next thing to do as well is to allow these things. If there's an X on them, your people won't use them. It tells you that in the tutorial though. It's not that big of a deal. I personally like to double click and then just press F rather than clicking. Too many clicks. It's bad for you. So the next thing I then do is look at the schedule. If you think about real life, generally humans like to have 8 hours of sleep. One of these guys though was a night owl. Which one was a night owl? So this one actually wants to be, I'm sure some of you can relate, this one likes to be awake during the night and sleeping during the day. Yeah, me too mate, me too. So we need to set his schedule so that he is actually, well, so he's doing that, so he's awake during the night and sleeping during the day. But he's not playing video games all night, unlike you. Now if you remember, we had this nice fertile land here. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. I'm going to grow, I'm going to set an area to grow crops in this area right here, the nice fertile land. I wouldn't make it too big to begin with, or they're going to spend all the time trying to plant stuff and then they won't use it, it'll just go to waste. But nonetheless, some sort of area about that big to start with. Go for the rice plant because that's the fastest growing crop that you've got right now. Well, that you've got, full stop. And finding establishing a good source of food is vitally important. You got to think, you crash landed on a planet, you've only got a few survival meals. How many have we got? Like 50, is it? 53? It's not going to last that long. So we need to establish a food source. The tutorial does tell you to make beds for your people. Oh yeah, what we got here? I didn't see that. We got gold. We're rich boys. We got gold. Yeah, sorry, I got distracted. So the next thing I'm going to do is go. It does, like I said, it tells you this in the tutorial. Make a building of a decent size. You can, looking at this map, I would build into the mountain. To be honest with you, I would go for something like this. It don't have to be amazing. You actually don't need the corners, just for future reference. We stick a door on the place. It's not going to be rocket science, this is it. We stick some beds down because they like to sleep. They do not like sleeping on the floor. I found this out with the tribals. Don't let them sleep on the floor, they hate it. So we're going to stick some beds down. It's a barracks for now. You ought to be thinking soon enough though that for each of your colonists to have their own room. But for now it's just tough. They're going to have to share. It also does say in the tutorial to put a torch lamp down, but I never bother with that. I'm not really fussed with it. For me, it only becomes important late when they're crafting, when your people stood at workstations all day. They like to be in the light, obviously, so they can see what they do. It's more pleasant. The next thing I would do is 2 zones. A dumping stockpile zone, which is for all of the the big chunks of stuff that you get. That's not going to go to, it's not going to rot when it's outside. In this case, I would probably just shove it down here. And then we also want an actual nice stockpile zone. I would stick it in here. And this is going to be for our food, medicine, more important things. Because it is important, so I'm just going to put it on critical. I would clear all and then manually add the items that you want to add. Food, for example. This guy's going to eventually chop this tree down and we're going to have a house. It's a little house for him to start off with. So we've now got our little house building here. He's putting a roof on top. This button down here will show us that it's got a roof on top. They like being roofed. We're going to click on the needs and see what's going on with them. The recreation. Yeah, we need to actually. It does say that they're happy, but they won't be for long. So we need to go down here. Recreation, horseshoes. Stick it out. Let's stick it outside. That'll keep them happy for a little bit, but something we need to think about improving. So we've survived the end of day 1. This is quite an achievement, guys. Well done. We've got plants. We've got crops growing. We've got a bunch of wood that we can build stuff out of. We've got poor beds and an awful bed. Wow, we need to get that construction sorted out, don't we? Nonetheless, it's not a bad start. Okay, with day 2 beginning, I've now set this up. So we're going to build a wind turbine here. We do have the technology. We might as well use it. I do like to run the power cables into the walls. It offers them more protection. Also, it just looks tidier rather than these just being all over the place. This right here is our wooden butcher's table, because we will start hunting soon. We will have the crops will be growing. I mean, they'll take a while, but we want to be making some fine meals. Your people will get a nice buff from eating fine meals instead of simple meals. Another thing is, I'm setting this area up with the stove where they will cook. Honestly recommend double doors here. Helps to preserve the temperature inside here, because you know by the time this door's closed, that one's open. It's like an airlock sort of situation. And then we need to put the freezer thing in here, the cooler. Where is it? Temperature. Cooler. Oh, don't mess this up. I've messed this up so many times. Learn from my mistakes, don't be an idiot like me. Cold air to the inside, hot air to the outside. We want cold air. We'll stick it here. Then we need to run the power cable on there. Like I said, I keep the power cables inside the walls. What? I meant to duplicate this, not that. Yeah, this is great. I'm a great teacher. Let's speed up a bit, let them get on with it. I do like to have a general crafty room where, for example, I'll put a stonecutter's table, a machining bench. I'll end up digging this mountain out at some point. Something to look out for is this. We never want to see this. This means that they're idle. We've got nothing to do. So we're going to look at his bio. What's he good at? Plants, animals. Okay, he's going to go and train this dog, I hope. Are you going to go and train this dog or not? No? Just going to go and eat. Yeah, he's just wondering. It's something to look out for. We don't ever want to see idle people. I don't like to see it. I want him doing stuff at all times. It's a pity that he can't shoot, because he would be really good at hunting. And he can't hunt with a knife. It's a pity though, because I would like to kill that fox. It's annoying me hanging around. So because he was so good at agriculture, shall we say, I've got him planting some potatoes. So potatoes do take longer to grow, but you get more food from them. The same with the corn. If you go up to the next level, corn takes even longer, but you get even more out of them. There's fancy foods here, strawberries. This is for medicine. We're not going to worry about those right now. Let's look at our construction. How's it going? Come on, chef. See, because he's not very good at constructing, he's botched it. It means he's wasted resources. No, it's unavoidable. Can't help it. I mean, it's getting better though. Stick a roof on this place. One thing that isn't explained in the tutorial is that you don't want the butchering table anywhere near the stove, because this thing makes a mess. It throws blood all over the place, as you would imagine. You know, you're butchering dead animals. So you don't want that anywhere near this. Also, I wouldn't bother with a floor in here at this point, because a wooden floor can actually generate more rubbish, more trash than no floor at all. We will be putting a wooden floor in here though later on. With our research bench done, we can now look at the research tab, so we can get Clark on the research. A few things that I personally like to do. You need to do the batteries. This will store power. For example, if the wind stops, that will stop generating power. And then I would probably go down to drug production. So you can make, is it smoke leaf? Smoke leaf, very nice. You can make some nice money from selling smoke leaf. Then I would personally be going for machining. So you can make weapons with this, like axes and swords and so on. Gunsmithing, although I wouldn't make any of these. Same with blowback operation. I wouldn't make them. I would, however, highly recommend the chain shotgun. It's a very good weapon. Even in the late game, it's really good against bugs. It's good against other humans. Not so great against mechs, but still, it's a very nice weapon for its relatively low place on the tech tree. I would have one eye on geothermal power, because it just generates so much power. But maybe a quick stop at the solar panels first, because they're also you can also make nice huge amounts of power from the solar panels. It's just that you have to have lots of these, whereas you get the geothermal power, and you don't have to worry about power for a while. Probably in the late game you'll need 2 of them. If you have a quick scan through here, you can see the things that you want to do. You want to be making medicine, because this is way better at healing your people once they get shot. Once you start meeting the big raids in the game, your people will get wounded, and this medicine's really good. And then it's really up to you from this point. You can You can take a step back, assess what it is that you want to do. Precision rifles is good. I like the sniper rifle and I like the assault rifle. That's generally what I go with most of my people on until they can get the charge rifle. But with these two, in all honesty, these two and the chain shotgun, you'll be able to overcome most of the raids that the game throws at you. Jump packs are a lot of fun. But from this point, it's up to you. From that point, you advance your game in the way that you think you want to advance it. Deep drilling I found to be absolutely useless. This was way better. Long mineral scanner. You can actually tell this one what you're looking for, such as uranium or gold or late game things that you need. You need uranium to make the nice armor. I do like recon armor because they can move quite fast in it. This stuff's cool. It's recon armor with a jump pack. And then, work your way through the good armors. It will be a long time before you get to this stuff though. You will also, if you've got the royalty DLC, I forgot about this, your people, whoever becomes a royal, will insist on having various things like a harp and a harpist card, whatever that even is, and a piano and various things such as they like to wear fancy clothing once they become a royal. So you will actually have to go and research some of this as well. But nonetheless, I think our little colony is looking good right now. Oh, one thing with this, remember to set the temperature. Anything below 0 is actually freezing, so it's really up to you. I just go for -19. So now the temperature inside here should drop on the right hand side. Anything that's below 0 will be frozen and won't go off. So once you start hunting animals, you can put the corpses in there. In fact, we might hunt this. One thing to look at. Honestly, 5% sounds low, but it isn't low. I would say to begin with, start hunting the things that are 0%. Does are good ones actually, because you do get lots of meat from does. You might as well go for the turkeys. Now that we've got a frozen area, there's no reason that you can't kill everything. It's not going to go off. Oh yeah, they're 2%. Yeah, 2%'s fine. Nonetheless, from here, I'll probably be looking at stone cutting table, so that you can mine these areas, make better structures, make stronger walls from the stone. A tailoring bench, because winter will be here before you even know it. You need to start making parkas for winter, dusters for summer, cowboy hats. It's a good start for our little colony. Oh look, he's off to hunt. I believe he's got 10 shooting. It should be good. There is sort of a hidden stat to look at here. His hunting ability, which is hunting stealth. 38% chance of staying in stealth. Well, if it was obviously 100%, then the animal would never attack you. It's a combination of the shooting skill and animals, so it is a pity that what was it? This guy. It's a pity that this guy doesn't have any shooting ability, but maybe you could later on level up his shooting. Out of curiosity, what is his stealth? I'm flipping blind, I can't see it. Oh, 0%, right. No reduction, because he's got no shooting skill. Anyway, something for you to think about. With that being said, I'll stop this part here, but I want to talk about, the goal of the game basically is to leave the planet. You can leave it by 3 different ways. First of all, there's the royalty quest. We haven't got a royalty, I can't show you. But you would basically advance through the ranks of the royals until you reach a high level, and then there will be a quest to. They'll send somebody down. I think it's called a Stellarch, something like that. You'll defend him for X amount of days, as long as it doesn't die. Oh, as long as he doesn't die, you'll be able to get out of there. What's up with you? Just kill it. Just kill the guinea pig. Yeah, what are you doing? I suppose this is a good example of showing you the health. So if you look at him here, it's basically scratched and bitten by the guinea pig, but he's in no danger. He's fine. The second way is by building a spaceship, which involves you going all the way through the research tree, all the way down here. You need all of these 5 things, and then you will build these items. You will build your own spaceship. You need something called a persona core, but you'll probably get it from a quest. If you don't get it from a quest, you can buy it from one of the other factions. It will present itself to you one way or another. Don't worry. And then the third way is to travel across the planet. At some point, a quest will show up, and there'll be a spaceship. It will honestly be as far away as possible. It will probably be like down here. Actually, more than likely, it'll be like over here, and you have to travel to the spaceship, defend the spaceship after you've turned it on for, I think it's 14 days, and then you can fly and leave the planet. All three ways are good. For the first time, if you got the royalty DLC, I would recommend doing the royalty quest, because that was a lot of fun, also the most straightforward. But really, it's up to you. The choice is yours. So our little colony is off to a decent start, in my opinion. Hartman's chilling out. Chef is flexing his muscles, carrying dead deers about with one arm, well, with no arms, even more impressive. We've got a research table. We're formulating some sort of plan for how we want to survive here. How we're gonna, we'll be thinking about how we want to fortify this position. Make a little kill box of some sort, of some description here. That's what I would be doing. There's a gap here. Is that a gap people can get through? No, I'm not sure. Maybe they could. Anyway, summer has just begun in the colony. We're going to leave Chef here, slowly but surely, levelling up his mining in the middle of the night. Join me next time when I'm going to introduce the various enemies that you will encounter on Rimworld. Please feel free to leave a like and a comment, share any tips for beginners that you might have. I'll see you next time.